New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
Hi there. So when was the last time that something went wrong in your life, something that you were doing, and you realized that you didn't listen to your intuition? When was the last time that something like that happened? I think for a lot of us, we might say, oh my gosh, it happens often. Or, we realize that we're not listening to our intuition. So that's the question. Are you tuned in to your intuition? And do you know how to recognize whether it's your intuition or not? Well, I have some ideas for you that I would like to share with you. So thank you for joining me here at New Thought Media Network. I am glad that you're here and you'll be able to connect with me later on Facebook, Spiritual Resource. Connect with me there. So I am a spiritual life coach, and I'm here to support you in your journey. And what we like to talk about here, and you probably recognize my title, is Igniting Your Inner Dazzle. Well, what is an inner dazzle? That is the most innermost part of yourself that is truly connected, that is centered, that is living in authenticity. That is your inner dazzle. That is the inner light that's within you, and it is connected to our intuition. You notice how the beginning words are intuition, inner dazzle. We connect to that inner self and we have a better life. That's what it's all about. So that's the question is, are you tuned into your intuition or not? And if we're not tuned into our intuition, we might mislead ourselves with our insecurities and maybe our judgments. We might make bad decisions, and it might cause our life to be difficult, right? That's what happens when we don't use our intuition. And I know there have been times in my life when I say, oh my gosh, if I would only listen to that inner voice, because our inner voice knows what the best decisions are for us. And that's the part of us that we want to begin to awaken within, so that we're coming from that perspective and we're tuning into that instead of just making quick decisions that are just off the top of our head or maybe we're just people pleasing. We're just making that jump decision just to make somebody else happy. That's the thing. You want to learn to be still and know. I love that. Thank you, Gina. That was beautiful. Yes, be still and know. That's what we need to learn how to do, is tap into our inner dazzle, that inner part of ourselves that does know. That's the whole point. So yes, that is what it's all about. So yeah, you want to begin to use your intuition in your decision making, because that's the good news, is that we have the power to make the decisions that we want in our life, right? We have the decision with the power to make up our decisions, whether they're positive or negative, and dealing with our choices, right? So that's the whole idea, is that we want to begin to create a new awareness about our choices and our decisions. And when they come from our intuition, we're definitely led in the right direction. That's the whole piece that I want to talk about today. I feel like that's important for us to know. So the tip one that I have for you is, we want to begin to pause. And like Gina mentioned, we want to be still, and we know. We want to take a moment to pause. Take that moment. I have my 1 minute pause. You can follow those on my YouTube channel. Take a moment to pause and just be present. Just be one with yourself. Allow yourself to be still and quiet your mind, and allow yourself to just be tuned in. So yes, you're going to tune into my Inner Dazzle LLC. Go to YouTube later when we're done here, and subscribe to Inner Dazzle LLC, and you can get lots of 1 minute pause videos. And those are designed to help you just take that moment to be still and know. Take that moment to pause, regroup, redecide what it is that you are trying to make a decision about. Instead of just making that quick jump decision, we can take time to pause first, and then we make a decision that comes from our intuition. So yes, so we're going to tune in to our intuition that is within. And I love that. And I focused on the ins because it's inward, it's inside, it's the inner dazzle. That's your innermost part of yourself that knows what to do. And that's the good news, is that we really are all born with that. So we can always use that. That's always our number one go-to. And that's the great news, is that we don't have to look outside of ourselves. We don't have to ask somebody else. We don't have to go to, read something else. It really is taking that time to pause, go within, use your intuition, and you will come up with the right decisions. And I know Gina picked out a beautiful quote that, perfect. And it's called intuition. And this is beautiful. I love this. Intention is one of the most powerful forces that there is. What you mean when you do a thing will always determine the outcome. And that's from a Brianna. I don't know what her last name was. I can't pronounce it. Yeah, but intention. So that's part of the intuition, is that intention, creating an intention for creating a better life, right? We want to have a happier life. We want to make better decisions. We want to do things that support us and honor us. So that is definitely something to be aware of. Yes, and this goes right hand in hand. You must train your intuition. You must trust the small, still voice inside you, which tells you exactly what to say and what to decide. And that's from Ingrid Bergman. That one is a really good one. I love that one. That's something that you just got to keep with you, right? Okay, so our second idea that I have for you today is, so the question is, so how do you connect with your intuition? So that's a question I have for you. And you can post it in the chat if you want. If you have any ideas, any thoughts that you want to share with me, I'd love it, because then we can have a little conversation. And that's what makes this show so fun. How do you connect to your intuition? Or when do you use your intuition? Do you notice it? Or do you just let it fly by and, like I said, just come from kind of a mindless perspective where you're just going through the day, right? Instead of that, we want to set the intention, like the quote said, and we want to use our intention when we use our intuition. It's all about that I love that. So how do you connect your intuition? So, of course, one way that I love to do it is really through breathing, deep breathing, taking some deep breaths. So take a deep breath with me now. Just pause for a second. Take a deep breath. Breathe in. There's something really powerful about taking a deep breath. And it's really coming from your belly, from your gut, all the way up, and then you're just letting it out, exhaling. Exhale any negative thoughts or maybe ego thoughts that come in and cause doubt and fear and worry. Just exhale and then just be present and listen to what God has to say, or our intuition, because that's what guides us. And that's where truly beautiful experiences can come from, if we use our intuition. And yes, this is a great idea. Listen to music, meditation, and visioning. Some beautiful tools and techniques that help us definitely tap into our intuition. Music, meditation, and visioning. Are you familiar with those? Because if you're not, you can call me and we can set up a time to chat, and I will help you through those, because those work really beautifully. All those tools are wonderful tools. That's what it's about. And you can certainly email me if you want more information, if you want to schedule a time to talk. I definitely am open for that. So you can email me at lisa@innerdazzle.com and send me some information and let me know how we can get a hold of you and we can chat about it. So continuing on with how do we connect with our intuition? Music, meditation, visioning, breath work. And it's about, the point is that it's about really awakening your inner self. So the whole idea, as we grow spiritually and we decide to step into our spiritual self, is that we connect with that, not only with the higher power, and we allow that to move through our body. That's why I do that, because I connecting to a higher power, and you allow it to move through your chakras, all the way from your crown, all the way down through your body. Connecting with those helps you connect to your intuition, awakening your inner self. You're going to ask yourself, am I coming from a voice of intuition, or is it just fear-based? Or like I said, where you're just making that snap judgment as you're making a choice or a decision. That's really important for you to begin to differentiate that. And that's where the awakening of our spiritual self steps in, and we begin to use our intuition more often than not. And that leads to a much more happy and productive and harmonious life. And that's what we're here to do, right? Intentional living. This is beautiful. Intentional living means making choices for your life based on your greatest values, not the habits of others. That's beautiful. Internationaltravelers.com. That was great. So that's definitely something to be aware of, right? And we're making our choices. We got to make some good choices. So the other method that I have as we are beginning to awaken ourselves. So we got the breath work is one. We have some listening to some beautiful music, meditation, visioning. And then also this is a great experiential to do. So I want you to try this try this at home, which you might be at home. So you're going to start with the deep breath. And you're also, the other thing is you want to put your hand on your heart, one hand on your heart if you can, and the other one on your tummy. I got my, so we want to just hand on your heart and one on your stomach. And you're just going to, and this exercise is one that you want to do really before you're getting ready to make a decision about something. Hand on your heart, hand on your belly, and you just take a moment, close your eyes. You're just going to do your deep breath, right? Deep breath in. And this is how we tune in and create a new awareness about our intuition. We just listen to what our intuition has to tell us. So when we take that moment to pause and we be still, check in with our heart, check into the heart, check into the belly, into your gut. What is your gut saying? What is your heart saying? Those are the things we want to listen to. That will make a huge difference in the decisions and the choices that you make, and finding out that you can make things that are more beneficial to yourself. That's the whole idea, is that we want to come from that place instead of always, pleasing everybody else and doing everything else that everybody else wants us to do, right? So that's something that I have learned, and I keep having to come back to it. Hand on my heart, hand on my belly, close my eyes, take a deep breath, and ask myself the question of what it is that I'm trying to make a decision about. Because a lot of times when you come from this place, a centered place, you will make definitely better decisions as far as with what you're doing with your life and how you are expressing in your life. It can be, anything from the way that you're treating your family, the way that you talk to your children, the way that you talk to your spouse or your partner. Coming from this place, taking this moment to pause can make a huge difference. I promise you. I guarantee you that it will make a difference if we just take that moment before you make that jump decision to check in and create new awareness about who you are and what decisions that you are making. So, okay, enough of that. So, and then of course, what goes with that, and as you're awakening to your spirituality, is you are becoming more mindful, right? That's what we're doing here by saying, okay, I'm going to take a moment to stop and breathe before I just make a jump decision, a decision of what might lead to some bad choices or bad experiences, right? So the other one is when you're being mindful, just to be mindfulness and awareness, they go together, hand in hand. Being aware of your thoughts. How do we make decisions? Are we coming from fear, or are we just coming from our intuition? So that's my spiel for today. And I have a wonderful video that I want to share with you. It's just like a 5-minute video. This lady is really fantastic. And she kind of gives it a different spin. And I want you to let me know what you think about this, because that question that she poses is, do you use your head or do you use your heart when you're making your decisions on and using your intuition. So check out this video. This is really cool.
Do you make decisions with your heart or do you make decisions with your head? And how the hell do you know? So this next question from Emily is a really, really great one for those of you that are struggling with making a decision. And it's a question about how do you know when you're listening to your heart or you're listening to your head? How do you know, like, what fear is real, in other words? And so she writes, I totally get how it is so important to listen to your inner wisdom and stop the inner chatter of self-doubt. But what happens, Mel, when the internal war is between what your heart feels and what your brain thinks and your inner wisdom is telling you? And so this is a question about, do you make decisions with your heart or do you make decisions with your head? And how the hell do you know? How do you know? In fact, I was just talking with my creative director, and she was sharing with me that a friend of hers is going through this terrible thing right now. It's not terrible. It's just what happens in life, where she knows that the relationship that she's in isn't right. They get along really well. Things are really easy, but in her heart, she knows it just isn't right. Those are the kinds of decisions that are really difficult to make. And so it gets to the heart of Emily's question, which is, how do I know whether to make a decision with my head or a decision with my heart? I'm the kind of person that believes you should always make decisions with your heart and soul. You can use your brain for math. You can use your brain to look at the fine print in a contract. But when it comes to the actual feel of the decision, you always want to go inward and check it against your heart and soul. How do you do that? Here's the simple test. Does the decision that you're about to make expand you, expand your future, or expand the possibilities of your life? If the answer is yes, then the decision is yes, no matter how terrifying it is. If you conversely look at the choice that you have to make, and the decision will shrink you, will silence you, will inhibit you in some way, then the answer is no. No matter how easy the decision is, no matter how safe the decision is, the answer is no. Now, one of the things I want to point out that when you start to use this, does it expand or does it shrink me? Does it open possibilities or does it keep things closed? Does it raise my voice or does it silence me, right? Is that there's always a short-term and a long-term impact to the decision. The short-term impact to making an expansive decision, a decision that's based in your heart and your soul, sometimes it's terrifying because sometimes it means moving, or it means changing a job or changing a relationship or having a difficult conversation or starting something new. And those sorts of things are always uncomfortable. So brace for impact, put the force fields up, but make the decision anyway. Because the long-term impact of making a decision from your heart and soul, that is where the best life comes from. Because you're living for what's true for you, not what's safe in the moment. I hope that helps. And let me know how you use this expanse versus shrink scale in order to make decisions that you're facing right now. And don't forget, submit your questions to us by using the hashtag AskMel.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. I love that. I think she describes it pretty well. I think that just hits the point right on the head. And yeah, that also goes hand in hand with, your questions that you're asking and your intuition. Are you coming from your head? Are you coming from your heart? And are you using your intuition? Are you using your gut? Are you using that heart, or the heart chakra, to tap into figuring out what your decisions are that you need to make? I think that's definitely a great way to express that. And I want to share one more time the quote about training your intuition, because I feel like that also just nails it on the head. You must train your intuition. You must trust the small voice inside you, which tells you exactly what to say and what to decide. And that's from Ingrid Bergman. So I feel like that just wraps it up pretty good. and gets right to the point of what it is that we need to do is tapping into our intuition, right? We're going to breathe. We're going to use our techniques and make some better decisions so we can have a beautiful, successful, happy, and a life of authenticity. That's what we want, right? All right. Well, thank you so much for being with me today. Email me if you have any questions or you want to connect at lisa@innerdazzle.com. And then also connect with me on Facebook if you'd like, on my Facebook page. And it's spiritual resource is what you want to tap in with the facebook.com. And then certainly subscribe to Inner Dazzle LLC because there are some beautiful videos on there. There's short ones with the 1 minute pause. There are also our 15-minute prayer because I'm on the prayer team here at New Thought Media. And then are also the 30-minute Inner Dazzle videos. So there's some really wonderful tools and techniques that you can learn as you grow your spirituality, right? And that's what we're here to do. So, of course, we also appreciate any ties or gifts that you want to send our way. And that would be ntmedia.org. And then you're going to click on donate. That's always appreciated. And if you want to support my personal ministry, you can Venmo me at RevLisa1. If you appreciate my support, I am here for you. So that is what I have to say today. So I want you to know that this time together really is a celebration of your personal empowerment. And that's what we're here to do with this connecting with our inner dazzle, is knowing and recognizing that truth within us and coming from our intuition to live our life fully. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you next week. Peace and blessings. Take care for now. Bye.